Why do some people go to the same movie over and over again?
I'm not telling you again what you need.
I think it depends on the film, but in a lot of ways it reflects our values of things, for better or for worse, I guess. But if you think of, serious historical dramas, those sorts of films, I think for most people who are serious moviegoers, when they watch it, they aren't mocking what's happening. They're feeling the seriousness of the situation, feeling the emotion. In a lot of cases, people can be moved to tears and that sort of thing watching a film still. Myself, I haven't watched a film that has made me cry in a long time. But a film that I watched when I was younger that I actually was really moved by was The Green Mile, which was a Stephen King novel, and I really love Stephen King. And watching that film, already having read the book and knowing what was going to happen and seeing the acting really moved me.
In some ways, the film industry reinforces some of our traditional values. So whatever the values in American society are, we see those values reinforced in film as well. I think also in some ways, it challenges specific assumptions as well. I think people might be more open-minded to other lifestyles or thoughts or points of view because they saw something presented in a film.
Well, I think movies, like any form of art, are a reflection of what's going on in society. So there's the age-old question, does art reflect what goes on in the world, or does art influence what goes on in the world? I think if you're talking about movies, I think it's both.
The current politics of the time are infused into the movie. Sometimes you'll see a movie like made in the 1970s, and even though it's about the Roman Empire, it's really about 70s politics, because that's what they're thinking of and it influences them. And I think it also, sometimes their costumes and hairstyles also look like the 70s more than the time period that they're actually. So yeah, that's a good point. There really is a connection.
I think a big part of it is that, there is so much focus on them, as celebrities, that, just how they live their lives makes a difference, and, what they wear, where they go out to eat, all those little kind of things make a difference. I think that there are some actors and actresses that people can look at as role models, like Tom Hanks or something like that. He just seems like a really good person. He does good things, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think there's many standard formulas for popular films. Standard narratives that sell tickets. This is where I would talk about the capitalist aspect of filmmaking, of going to the movies. So the more entertaining the narrative, and the more familiar the narrative, and the more it appeals to wider groups of people, the more people who will go and the more money they'll make.
Yeah.
What those narratives are and what those standard formats are, I'm not good enough to be able to say, but I know they exist and I know them when I see them.
Oh yeah. Just think of all the trailers that you watch where it's like, like the romantic comedy where two people from completely different worlds run into each other and then they meet each other and then all these, unforeseen circumstances happen. So I think there's a formula to filmmaking, and I think with popular films, where either it's popular actors, popular directors, or maybe a franchise sort of thing, so think of like the Harry Potter films, where you have a built-in audience that really wants to see what's going to happen, even though in a lot of cases you kind of already know where things are going. So if it's a romantic comedy, they're going to meet, they're not going to like each other at first. And then certain things are going to happen, they're going to endear themselves to each other. And then somebody's going to betray somebody or do something where it's like, oh, it's over, and then they walk away, and then there's some redeeming moment at the end. And in some cases, you see that and you're like, I hate that. But in other cases, if the acting is really good, even though you know what's going to happen, you still want to see it. Because it's something about, I think, the full arc of a film, or even in terms of storytelling in general. You know where it's headed, but you still want to see in the end how it works out.
When I find myself by the sea, in another's company, by by the sea. Wanna go out to the pier.